I'm going to move on straight to Guy Howard now, if I may, who's going to talk about the area of water management and the way in which that theme of PARC's ambitions could be picked up. Guy.
Great, thanks Judith and Isabella for inviting me to speak at this. And I do have to say from our perspective, one of the things I really welcome is PARC's inclusion of innovation in future water sanitation and hygiene management as one of its 3 capstone programs. I think that sets out a very strong message about PARC's focus on the really key issues that affect the African continent, and I think also sends a key message about understanding that provision of services needs to also be backed by an understanding about how we manage natural resources. So let me just take a step back a little bit. So why would this be so important? So we know water is crucial to Africa's development and resilience. Its future food security, its future energy security, its ability to reduce disasters will all depend on its ability to manage its water resources more effectively, to utilize them effectively, and to really understand how those water resources change over time and place. At the same time, sub-Saharan Africa remains the region of the world that is furthest behind in meeting the SDG targets for drinking water and sanitation. What that results in is very large numbers of avoidable illness and avoidable deaths. It also increases the burden on women and girls in particular, who are those who would then have to spend much of their days collecting water, who don't have access to safe sanitation and toilets, who don't have places to manage their periods in a dignified, private and manner. So these things are absolutely crucial around Africa's future development and getting it right and finding solutions that are driven by the African population's own desires, needs and priorities becomes ever more important. Bristol has always had traditionally a big profile in these areas, whether my colleagues in other parts of civil engineering, such as Torsten Wagner, who's looked at flood risk management, the work in geographical sciences by people like Paul Bates and Katerina Michaelides, who are looking at flood management, who are looking at how you manage drought and how you manage drylands. And we have an emerging profile around water and sanitation services through my own work, where we're working in countries like Sierra Leone and Uganda, looking at urban services, and in countries such as Ethiopia, and hopefully in the future Uganda and Senegal, where we're looking at climate resilience of services. When I step back and reflect on our profile though, what comes very clear is whilst Bristol has a good presence in this and has good partners, it's all rather ad hoc. We've all gone to where we already have existing partners to develop nice, interesting ideas. I think what PARC's presence on the scene now gives us is a way of actually consolidating that and becoming much more coherent. And one of the things I'm very excited about is the ability to work with PARC through this capstone program to generate new, more strategic long-term partnerships with a range of African research institutions, and to root our new research development very much in being driven by our partners' needs, by African-driven research that Bristol is able then to support, and have less, if you like, top-down solutions which are driven by UK academics understanding what we think is best, but to root our research much more in what the science, the policy and the populations of Africa really think are the issues that they face. And those can often be extremely different. Just to take an example, when you come from the UK, we tend to focus on technological and other issues, whereas if you actually switch that around to an African perspective, a lot of the research is much more around social systems, it's much more around financial instruments. So getting that right, I think, is particularly important. I think perhaps the other area, and this is perhaps even more important to me, coming from previous role in government, is I think PARC offers us an opportunity not just to develop a coherent relationship with African research institutions, but with the African policy instruments and organisations that work at regional level. I think the links into the African Union and its organs, such as the African Ministerial Council on Water, that can be facilitated through PARC, give us a real opportunity not just to be developing research that's relevant, but actually showing how that can be translated into real change on the ground, to real policy change and to real operational change. So I think this is really exciting. Isabella and I have had quite a number of discussions around how this program can continue to develop. We have upcoming ideas where I hope very much we will be able to bring PARC in as a very strong component of any future proposals that we are developing with our African partners around COVID and WASH, but also around developing new research groups around water and sanitation. So I think this is an excellent opportunity. I think it shows real vision from Bristol to be able to do this. And I'm really looking forward to the future and working with Isabella and her colleagues. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Guy. That's a fantastic summary of the opportunities in the area of management and sustainability more generally, I think.